And we're back. I know, it's been a little while, but we're back with the 1999 season, and if I remember correctly, we won at Spain, and we won by fending off Michael Schumacher. And yeah, by just those words alone, it made for a pretty interesting Spanish Grand Prix, which, interesting and Barcelona don't go together very often. But yeah, and now we gotta deal with the Canadian Grand Prix, to which I can spoil this immediately. Qualifying is going to be wet, so potential bad qualifying attempt. But of course, I hope I don't, but that could happen. But there's, of course, this race is important for a multitude of reasons, but we're going to talk about those during the race, especially for one particular moment, or rather three at the same place. But again, we're going to talk about that during the race. So I'd say let's not waste any more time and let's get on with the show, shall we? Okay, never mind, we're starting on pole position. Let me guess. Two stops, of course, softs and then hards. I think, actually don't remember what happened in 1998. I think we won the race. Actually, no, I think we finished third and it did rain that race. So, yeah, for 1999, we're gonna do a dry one. So, let's get on track. And it's one light, two lights, 3, 4, 5. And we're off in Montreal. And we get a great start off the line. Here comes the first couple of corners. Okay. Into the Vettel corner, as I'm pretty sure everybody remembers from 2019. Michael Schumacher also has pulled away from the group. So potential Carlos Schumacher fight once again, a repeat of the Barcelona fight. Into the hairpin where the Lance Stroll stand is now, I believe. I think it's this one we're just facing. That's the Stroll stand. I don't remember, but I think that's the one. I'm pretty sure they also won for Latifi, if I remember correctly. But in any case, here we cross the point that became famous in the 1999 race, the Wall of Champions. Because the one thing that everybody remembers from the 1999 Canadian Grand Prix is, of course, outside of the pile-up at the start, is that is the footage of Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, and Jacques Villeneuve all crashing. Ooh, already to Travis DNF, by the way. Hill, Schumacher, and Villeneuve all crashing into the World Champions. And because all of them were or are World Champions, that's why it got the name. Although Villeneuve actually crashed into the thing even earlier, in 1997. So he basically became a member of the World Champions before it was even a thing, essentially. But yeah, if I remember correctly, this was a race Hakkinen won. But yeah, the World Champions is virtually the birth of the World Champions is the thing that everybody remembers from the 1999 race. Now I did mention yesterday that I was doing my driving license test, and I passed. I did the how can I say this? The theory exam. I passed that one, and now I have to do the practical exam. And only God knows what I will be able to do it. So at least one part is done. And I might even believe that I wasn't going to pass it. So it was nice to slap that in her face. Okay, so this is yeah, I just realized that saying that out of context is horrifying. But yeah, anyway, I will say this immediately. Next video will not be tomorrow because there's the direct tomorrow. And if you're new here, when there's something like a PlayStation State of Play or Nintendo Direct, I suspend videos for the day and focus solely on that. So tomorrow there won't be any videos outside of the direct recap and of course my feelings about it. And regular operations will resume at the day after the direct. But outside of that, the next video of this one will not be commentated because I will be doing commentary for the third Fantasy Super mod race, which is at Brazil. That was a terrible taking of the shit game, but okay. And right now it's been pretty fun to make, so that's cool.
There's a gap of 3 seconds between you and the car behind. See if you can increase the gap.
In the meantime, 3 seconds is the gap. Oh, and also started 1997 again with Stuart. And I am uploading the video as of making this. So very likely that by the time I'm done with this one, I'll be posting the other one on the other channel. And if you're asking why Stuart, I put the names of the teams. I put the teams on a wheel, and I let that decide for me, and it chose Stuart. Actually, when I was supposed to bid again? Oh, lap 11, so in a bunch of laps, yeah. Okay. now that pre-season testing is done for Formula 1, once I guess I can finally start talking about Formula 1 races once they begin. And you might be asking why I didn't talk about the pre-season testing. It's because pre-season testing at the end of the day doesn't really matter. You want the perfect proof? Look at 2019. It looked like Ferrari was going to be the team to beat, and then Mercedes just put possibly the most dominant performance of the 2010s. So they don't really matter.
The gap to the car behind is 5 seconds. 5-second gap.
Okay, 5 seconds. There we go. Okay, nice. Okay, and I should probably do that too, at least for now. Yay, okay. But yeah, I passed my the written part of my driving license exam. The questions turn out to be a hell of a lot easier than I imagined. I mean, of course, the questions are easy if you know the answers, as good old Chris Tarrant, when he was still doing The Millionaire, would say. But it was genuinely really, really easy. I didn't have to think too much about. Also, well, first and foremost, I don't know how it works in other countries, but here in Italy, you have 30 questions and you have to do it in 20 minutes. So it is plenty of time to read the questions and reread them in case you need some changes. But you know, time flies, and you cannot spend too much time on the questions. But I was looking at them and I was just flying through them. In fact, I think I spent more time actually rechecking the answers I wasn't exactly too sure about than anything else, than doing the actual all the 30 questions. So, yeah, that's at least again that part is done. Yeah, even with lane mixture, I'm still gaining on Michael Schumacher. And actually, speaking of, the next race is also going to be a very important race for the whole season. If you know, you know. As for the direct, it's a partner showcase, so it's a majority going to be third-party developers. So I really have no idea what's gonna be shown. I guess I could technically say a potential remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and that is because not because it was leaked, but also because there was somebody who and recently the English voice actors of Cosmos in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, of course, Cosmos being from Xenosaga, which is made by still the same developers of Xenoblade. listed as part as the game she worked with. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition. So chances are it could potentially be shown, and if it does, my only two hopes is that they speed up the combat a little bit, and that they actually make tutorials, you know, good. Because one of the bad things about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, one of the most notoriously bad things about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is, apart from the terrible pacing of the first couple of chapters, is that the tutorials are just straight up garbage. And they actively make the experience a hell of a lot worse than... and actively make the experience a hell of a lot worse. To the point where you actually need tutorials outside of the game, mainly from Anel and Chair Conroy, to actually have a relatively decent experience with the game. And apparently there's also a problem in the Japanese version, so let's hope that... and yes, I know it... So, it was a problem, you know, Bad Tutorials was a problem in the Japanese version, so I cannot chuck it off to, you know, the localizers were in a massive rush to release the game, because they had to be released in 2017. So, at least I hope that they fix the tutorials. So it's and almost joined the Wall of Champions right there, even though technically I'm not a champion, so I guess I do not apply for membership, but whatever.
Pitch in this lap. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Okay, roger that, Jeff.
You're pulling away by about half a second a lap, so we've got an opportunity to look after the car here.
But yeah, I seriously hope they actually fix tutorials and you don't have to rely to, you know, people on the internet to actually, you know, learn how to play the game and not make it look like watching paint dry is a better experience.
Box, box, box.
Okay. Is somebody else going to follow me, is the question?
Have a 7 second.
Ooh, okay, now I can actually back to put a standard now. There we go. So, is anybody else going to follow me? The answer is going to be Ferrari, at least, and McLaren. So, Coulthard and Irvine stay out. And maybe Lucas, yes, Frenzen 2. Rejoin right behind Frenzen. There we go. And ahead of Wurtz.
We've put a new set of the option cards on the car. That leaves just one.
On what it... But no. No, he raced in 2002, didn't he? Yeah, he did race in 2000 for Benetton. It was in 2001 where he became McLaren's test driver. But if I remember correctly, he raced in 2000 with Benetton to Alex Wurtz.
Okay, you have to pass him. You have to pass him.
I mean, I know the guy has to pit, but whatever. He told me you have to pass him, so, and I had a chance, so I did. But in any case, outside of that, I got no other idea. Oh shit, okay. I don't want to say potential news about Fire Emblem because it's a first party, so we'll see where we get there. son of a bitch.
You've taken some slight damage to the front wing. You should be okay to stay out.
Yeah, if this was the modern games, yeah, I would have had to pay it immediately. Um... Actually, what I did earlier before recording, I installed the extra tracks in for the 2025 mod on this game, and I don't know, but they feel, of course, they feel different. It's a different physics engine. Enemy a fast lap of the race, but I damage your rear front wing in the meantime. Of course, they feel different because, you know, different physics engine from what they use now. But it feels like with that mod, I can be even more aggressive with the car than I am with the modern games. In the sense of, in the modern games, for example, in F125. Yeah, I can be aggressive, but I still need a little bit more of finesse. With the 2025 mod on F1 2014, I can just attack. I can just go balls to the wall and brake extremely late, even later than the normal, and still make the corner stick. And yeah, let me tell you, it's really fun. Okay, that's gonna be our first lapped car. And it's Genet. And actually, a little bit of fun fact. I wanted to use the 2025 mod as the base for Formula Fantasy before I decided to just use it on a clean install of a clean folder actually of the game, because there was some fuckery with the with AlphaTauri. Mainly the car model. It installed the car mod. Okay, so there is the car in the game files. There's the cars files, which of course includes everything. The car model, the car texture, everything, and I ported them directly to the 2025 mod folder, and for some teams it worked. The transition worked just fine, but for other teams, not so much. The example that I can remember is that AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri of the mod was not using the textures of the modded car, or I mean they're all modded. What I mean is the 2012 car model was there, but the textures were of the 2025 car. And since I didn't want to deal with, I wasn't particularly feeling able to fix that. I decided to just not bother, keep 2025 normal, and just use a fresh install. But I may do it again for Season 2 of the Fantasy Super mod, and this time actually pay a little bit more attention. Also because I really want to drive with the pre-2017 cars. What are the pre-20? Or rather, should I say, more the pre-hybrid cars around Baku or Qatar, because that would be a sight to see. But in the meantime, let's try and finish the first season first and foremost. When we have to pit, lap 23. Hey, okay. Another thing that I remembered before recording is that in 2014, Autosport did a list of the 50 best drivers that never made it into Formula 1. Okay. And it started off with Valentino Rossi number 50, and it ended with Tom Christensen at number 1. Tom Christensen being the winner of nine-time winner of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the record holder for most win Le Mans. And that list, there's people like Paul Tracy, Greg Moore, Kenny Brack. There's Tony Stewart too. To which little side note, turns out Denny Hamlin as an injured shoulder, and instead of actually taking time to do surgery and relax, he decided to keep going to just brute force his way into the with the injury. To which, yeah, the guy is probably going to retire without ever winning a title, isn't he? But anyway, there's Tony Stewart for NASCAR. He's like the only NASCAR rep, purely NASCAR rep, although purely NASCAR rep. The guy did IRL stuff before switching over to NASCAR. There's Rick Mears, there's AJ Foyt, there's Parnelli Jones, there's Derek Franchitti, of course. There's Craig Landis, so even CVS Supercars were involved in that one. There's Seb Loeb, of course. Since it was 2014, this is Andrew Lauderer. But as we all know, he did that one start in 2014 with Caferum. So, whoops. And I went around some opinions, and some people thought that Jeff Gordon should have been in that list more than Tony Stewart, because I'm pretty sure everybody has heard the history at least once. Jeff Gordon looked to be headed for IndyCar, but because he had no sponsors, he decided to stick with NASCAR because it was a lot more cheaper. And then, of course, look at how it went. But if it's a pretty interesting read, even though it's relatively outdated. And now, if we had to update the list for 2026, immediately there are a lot of names that you can come up with right out of the gate. Marc Marquez for MotoGP. Oh shit! That did not count as a corner cut? Okay. There's Marc Marquez. There's I guess you could say Alvaro Bautista, now that he has won Superbike champion. Johnny Ray, of course. Record man for Superbikes. Then what? You could Seb Ogier, of course. Then what? I guess you can include Kyle Larson, even though the guy is still in activity, of course. But I guess now you can include Kyle Larson. Then what? Seb Ogier, I can think. Andrew Dovizioso, I guess I could say too. Jorge Lorenzo, too. Then who else? Shane Bergen, of course. I mean, the guy is still racing in NASCAR now, but still. There's been a lot of good drivers that Ever since 2014, there's been a lot of good drivers that have never raced in Formula One. So, I don't know. I could potentially make myself a video of that. I don't know if anybody will watch it, or how people are going to be mad about some of the choices that I would make. I mean, just mention some of them on top of my head, but you know, that would be interesting for a topic. That would be a good and interesting topic for a video. Ooh, okay. Okay, we have to pit in 2 laps. Then somebody else I can think of. I mean, Calder Vampera, I stated that he wants to go to race in Formula 1, so don't count him out yet. And there's Rubens in the pits. Another guy, DNF, too. Oh, and that list is also Satoshi Motoyama for the Japanese racing nerds out there. For those who don't know, Satoshi Motoyama is basically Japan's racing god. I guess you could say that. And I guess you could say that he's one of the best drivers from Japan to have never raced in Formula 1. But yeah, that would be an interesting topic for a video. And I know in that list somebody might mention Alex Palou, but I seriously doubt the Palou would ever want to go back at here and race in Europe. So, yeah. Okay, 13 laps to go in the meantime. Okay. All right. Hey. And into the pits we go for the final time. In the meantime, looks to be a Schumacher 2, a Ferrari 2-3. There we go. 6.2 seconds. We're going to rejoin in third behind Irvine and Coulthard. Actually, no. In fourth. No, actually, no. That's what, Genet or Brundle? Brundle. Bator. And it's Genet. It's Genet. Okay. And that's it for all the topics that I want to talk about. I just stated no videos tomorrow because it's direct, so everything will be back at on Friday, I believe. I don't remember. Actually, is this day Wednesday? Hold on a minute. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Okay, so yeah, we'll be back on Friday. Okay. Back into the lead with 11 to go.
The car behind is running on the option tyre. They have the advantage.
Okay. And actually, next race is going to be important too for ourselves because we had the worst result at the British GP in 1998. We finished 9th, so we have a chance to fix that. In the hopes that it's not going to be a wet race again.
We need to keep up the pace. The gap to the car behind is 4 seconds.
Hey, okay. Two other lapped cars. That's a BAR. Yes, and that's Zonta, I want to say.
Take it. They should let you through.
That's, I want to say that's Zonta. Definitely, it's not Villeneuve. And, oh, come on. Let's see who it is, and indeed it is Zonta. Okay, 10 laps to go. Yeah, I actually ran out of topics to talk about, so I guess actually, yeah, I did talk about I talked about Denny Hamlin, and yeah, at this point, that guy, Schumacher fast lapped the race by, oh god, 0.6 than mine? And he's actually closing in, so we might actually have a battle for the win. I did mention Denny Hamlin breaking his shoulder, injuring his shoulder, and yeah, at this point,
There's not much between you and the car behind. Just 2 seconds.
I think that that's probably going to be it for his championship hopes right there and then.
We think the car behind is running on full revs. He's trying to close the gap.
Doesn't help the fact that now that they brought back the chase, so winning your in is not possible, and it's not possible anymore. So either the injury ends up being a little less serious, or that's going to be it for his chances at ever winning a championship. But still, that's I mean, this off season has been really awful for Hamlin. With all the bullshit he had to go through between losing the title the way he did at Phoenix, the lawsuit, and of course now the death of his father, and now an injury that can potentially already compromise his championship before it's even begun. Yeah, this off-season has been really terrible for Hamlin. It's been a terrible off-season for NASCAR in general, look at Michael Annett and Greg Biffle. But yeah, fate really added for Hamlin this year, rather this off season.
At the moment, the car behind is lapping faster than us by around a second per lap.
Actually, no, I do have a topic. I don't do predictions for Formula One seasons for good reason. I'm terrible at them, and I might look stupid. But I have a friend that did, and from what I remember, they predicted a potential, maybe a tail run from Alonso, I guess, with the Adrian Newey car tail run. That George Russell is actually going to win the championship. That McLaren are going to completely fall apart. Which I said it's kind of ridiculous, but then again, it's look at 2007. They were well, I'm not gonna. You know what? Never mind. They predicted a complete collapse of McLaren. Then what? Potential title run for Alonso, or at least fighting for wins. Maybe even a dark horse for the title. Look at Russell title. Red Bull. It's going to go to. As is per usual, it'll be all entirely on Max Verstappen's shoulders, and Hadjar is going to be completely nowhere. The V-Carbs are going to be nowhere. I also predicted potential points for both Audi and Cadillac. And that's all I can remember from the predictions. Is that Michael behind me? Oh, yes, he is. Okay. Okay. It's Michael versus Kale, round 2.
Traffic ahead, stay alert.
As for what was I was say about McLaren before I cut myself, because if I would make sense. I told them it would be a bit ridiculous to think that McLaren would just completely collapse after a title-winning season. Then again, McLaren wasn't exactly in after 2000. McLaren wasn't exactly in the best of shapes after 2007. Okay, sure, they won the title in 2008 with Hamilton. But it's also true that after that, they won. The downward after Hamilton won, the downward spiral started, and especially after Hamilton left. But even then, that was a gradual fall from grace. You know, Hamilton wins the title. Hamilton wins the 2008, in 2009, and 2010 are at least McLaren's are competitors for the drivers, and then of course nothing happened. In 2012 they were absolutely nowhere because it was the Rebel show. In 2012 they had the best car on the grid, and it was with 2013 when the downfall really began. But for the purposes, it was, and then of course it came crashing all down when Honda rejoined Formula One. But even the downfall of McLaren in that period was gradual. This friend is predicting that they will immediately collapse. Like, one year they win, the other one they'll probably be like the third, fourth best team on the grid. So, who knows if they'll be right or not. But yeah, those are basically the prediction that this friend made. Russell winning the championship. Aston Martin being a one-man team once again, with Stroll doing really nothing, and Alonso potentially being a dark horse for the championship. And from what everybody's saying about the car, yeah, everybody's already saying they could be a surprise. Cadillac and Audi scoring points. A V-Carb being the worst car on the grid. Red Bull, Hadjar becoming the latest victim of the Verstappen curse. And yeah, that's basically all of them. And McLaren, of course. McLaren's momentum coming to a screeching halt, and just imploding. One, of course, the story that apparently the rumor going on that Leclerc might sign for Aston Martin if Ferrari ends up sucking once again for 2027. To replace who? I'm probably going to say Alonso. Since what the purpose is, for as long as Lawrence Stroll owns the team, Lance is there. Lance won't go anywhere.
The car behind is a full second down on you.
But yeah, those are the predictions. That this friend of mine said, and in the meantime, we're gonna cross the chicane and the wall of champions to start the final lap of the race. And now we are down to 17 runners. Bit of a slide there. There we go. Am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on revs. There we go. Nice and easy. There we go. Of course, if there was DRS, it would be it would be Michael would be able to activate it. Through the hairpin, which I'm pretty sure is like one of the very few corners that actually name the track. If I remember correctly, called the Pingle. So he's straight in what would be the second DRS zone, or third actually, third, because they got 3 DRS zones now. Into the chicane for the final time, and we are going to win the Canadian Grand Prix.
Congratulations on the win. The whole team's ecstatic. Great driving.
And so, we win the Canadian Grand Prix. Second is Michael Schumacher. Third is Eddie Irvine. And then it's Damon Hill, Ansel Franzen, Alex Zanardi, Lucas Lundin, Pedro Diniz, General Trulli, and Giancarlo Fisichella rounds up the top 10. And, ooh, Bader was just one step away from the points. But, yeah, Bader finishes 11th. The top 10 were the only drivers that weren't lapped. And Okay, so cool. Ooh, ooh, both McLarens out. That's amazing for my championship. So that's good. Takagi probably DNF for 3 laps. Wurz, Panis, and Alesi are also DNF'd. And Butter, Barrichello, De La Rosa, Villeneuve, Zonta, and Genet are all lap down. And of course, Genet wins last car by virtue of everybody else DNFing. Or maybe, actually, maybe Takagi wins last car because he is, you know what, no, you know what, I'm gonna Genet as the winner of last car for today's race. But yeah, and actually, I think this sort of points for both first points for Sauber and Prost. So only Minardi and Arrows and BAR now left with no points whatsoever. I'm pretty sure. Again, it's been a while, so I don't remember the standings. And speaking of, we're gonna check them after I'm done with the thumbnail. So see you in a bit. And we're back, and now let's check out the standings. And we still lead. Michael Schumacher is now second. Eddie Irvine is in third. Coulthard is in fourth. Hakkinen is in fifth. And it's Frentzen, Hill, Lucas, Zonardi, Barrichello, Fisichella, Dinitz, Trulli, Wurz, and Panis. With Alesi, Bader, Villeneuve, De La Rosa, Genet, Zonta, and Takagi still at 0. And now in the constructors, Ferrari leads. McLaren is second. Third is Stewart. Fourth is Jordan. Fifth is Benetton, then is Sauber, Prost, the last of the point scorers, Minardi, BAR, and Arrow still at 0. And with that, we're gonna end the video here. So, if you liked it, give it a like. If you see more content like this, hit subscribe and click the notification bell to get the extra drops. And I have nothing else to say other than see you next video, everybody. This is Alpha, signing out.